All right, let's get back into this interview. And I will say Meghan has changed over the years. I'm going to call it like I see it.
You know more than I do. I didn't know that.
So I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like
Yeah.
that would have like the show would have,
Been completely different.
right?
Yeah, I mean, Aaron is so
Look at
talented,
that.
and he's also so hands-on, and to be able to be on a show
So
this
that's
far.
pretty interesting. So first of all, give her credit for speaking somebody up, which you haven't seen from her too often, but also say that it's really funny. Again, I'm not sure of this. Maybe some of the other commenters, some of the women viewers can comment on this. I feel like, oddly enough, she talks so much about women and as a cause, but it seems like she gives more respect to men. Like, I've never heard her refer to like women by name. It's always like this role I was around. Now this guy, she's saying him by name. Her co-star, she says by name, and really talks them up like in a genuine way, which is really interesting.
Into it, where he is that committed to making sure it really has an air of authenticity. He'll be one of the first people to say it. He can create that world for us, but we've each individually been living our characters, so we're going to see it through a different scope, and he's always open to hearing our point of view on
So
that. And
like
he even
this, I would say, I'm gonna call it like I see it. Normally I have negative things to say. This sounds like a perfectly good answer, and she's talking him up, which is very different from what we've seen from her in the future. So I'm wondering if one, her personality's changed, which is very possible. If she was very driven by attention and she gets more of it and goes after it more and more over time, she could have changed. Or maybe she's sucking up to him to like further her career, or maybe it is that she has a much easier time to speak up men than women. It seems like most of her competition is towards women. Granted, she's treated men she's dated as stepping stones, very much so, or been kind of abusive towards Harry, but most of, again, those things we see with her, give it staring daggers, it's normally at women the vast majority of the time.
himself, he couldn't decide if he wanted Mike and Rachel to be married or not at that point. So he had been waffling and then ended up changing it. I'm really happy that he did.
And you just said that you want them to get married for the fans. How do you envision it? Do you want him to like somehow plea? I guess, can you plea bargain your way out? I don't know how that really works. You're the lawyer.
Oh no, Rachel's not a lawyer yet.
I'm like,
she has no idea, nor do I. No, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how it's going to play out because, of course, with Mike in prison now, Rachel's world opens up in a very different way. I mean, one of the first things I said to Aaron was, oh no, does this mean Logan Sanders is coming back? Because the fans got so mean when that happened.
What?
I mean, people didn't want to see Rachel misstep. She has been a moral compass so much on the show, so that was a really big problem for a lot of fans, and I understand that, but with that said, she's human, and I think if Mike is away at prison, we want to trust that their love can endure that, but she's going to have a lot of other catalysts in her life now that might rock the boat.
And do you have any idea of what's coming up, or not until the first tape?
So again, I'll say with this interview, I'm gonna call it like I see it. It seems a lot better than most of the other ones, and it's very different from the majority of interviews that we've seen from her in the past. So again, maybe she was more engaged with the work, and I would say the woman interviewing her does a really good job. Like, she just seems nice, and she's really clearly trying to make it a good interviewer. You could tell she really wants it to be good. Like, she got nervous for a second, but that didn't like ruin it. By the way, that's something I say with speaking, communicating in general. You don't necessarily need to be perfectly confident. Like, some narcissists are totally confident and they'll bore you to death. Like, most of Meghan's speeches tend to be. But if someone's like really trying to do a good job, and a little nervous, it could still be really good.
I have a sense of what's happening in the first episode, which I
I would say it's
cannot tell
boring,
you
though.
any of. I'm so sorry.
I always try to like get people
a little
to
bit.
spill a little, and
but
everyone's been so well trained at this point.
We are well trained, but I think what's good about that is if you get everyone to spill just a little bit, you can connect all the dots, and then you'll have the whole story. So it's worth it.
Spilling the fake story.
Right, true. We're not that deceptive. No, we're not that good.
All right, so I'll wrap it up there. I will say she comes off a lot better in this interview, but she might have a side that can come off charming. I mean, she certainly charmed Prince Harry, and maybe she changed. This is like over 7 years old. Let me know your thoughts on this interview and what changed over time, and give me video recommendations because I need more things to cover.